What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Erasure. And I wanted to give a shout out to Yun, a friend and champion of the channel, who shared a lot of music with me lately, and indeed, I just started reacting to solo Morten Harket material, and he sent me that. He's also sent me Alphaville's albums, he's also sent me Roxette's albums, and one of the other things he sent me is some bonus material from both Erasure and Pet Shop Boys. So yeah, we're going to listen to what I think is a bonus track from the Wonderland album, 1986, despite the fact that their ABBA-esque EP is from 1992, years later. So yeah, apparently they've covered a few ABBA songs, which I'm intrigued by. The only ABBA songs I really know, in fact, I think the only ABBA song I know well is Gimme, 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 and the reason for that is sort of like weird and indirect. The reason for that is because in the early 2000s, when, you know, YouTube and like internet videos were sort of in their early days, I used to watch football compilations, you know, whether it was for like Ronaldinho or like a particular player, or just, you know, like goals by a certain club, or just, you know, goals from a certain league. And in a lot of cases, people who made these compilations would put like music tracks like behind them that, you know, in one way or another reflected the style of the player that you were watching clips from, and so on. And one of those clips, I think it was like a Ronaldinho compilation, all his, you know, dribbles and feints and that famous toe-poke goal against Chelsea and so on. I think in the background of that video there was like a techno-influenced, or at least like a dance floor kind of version of Gimme, 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 which admittedly is already sort of like a dancing kind of tune. But number one, I enjoyed that techno version, but it made me want to hear the original because the vocals were amazing from both of them. And I remember thinking like, wow, like, I don't really know ABBA's catalog, but it's a name obviously in the musical world that's very big. And when I heard the original version of that track, I was like, I get it. Like, you know, without even hearing any of their songs, I get it. They both have incredible voices. In particular, what is it, like Agnetha or something? The blonde, the one who sings more like the verses of the track, she I think has like a particularly nice voice, and so when I heard that I was like, wow, like I get why they would be big. Now admittedly it didn't make me go on an ABBA deep dive at the time. It was just like, okay, so like, you know, I heard this track, you know, through a sort of a random source, but it made me seek out the original. I'll put some respect on that original tune. So the idea of Vince and Andy remixing a tune I know from ABBA, I am very intrigued by. And I'm also intrigued that it comes from the Wonderland era, which, you know, their first album. I've, you know, talked to a number of friends of the channel about the way they see this album as good, but also like, you know, sort of their earliest efforts together, and surpassed by sounds, fuller sounds and better songs that they made over time. But again, I really enjoy the Wonderland album, so I'm intrigued to hear another tune from that era, or from that album, again, as a bonus track. But yeah, it also has the bonus of being a tune that I know from its original context, so I'll have more of a comparative ear. Because again, I recently went through an album of Duran Duran where it's a cover album, except for the very last tune, or one of the last tunes. And in many cases I didn't know the original, so it's like, I'm going to listen to this cover, I don't really have a basis for comparison or contrast. But here that is not the case because I do know the original. But let's get to it, and try not to run over my kitten as she like hovers around my chair. But yeah, this is Erasure and their version of Gimme, 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 a song originally by ABBA. It's I already like this song, and then you're gonna give me Vince and Andy? There's not a soul out there, no one should hear my prayer. Gimme, gimme, gimme a man after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? I love that line. Gimme, gimme a man after midnight. Who would have helped me chase the shadows away? Darkness till the break of the day. Shout out to ABBA for that riff. And And shout out to Vince for kind of making it more like crystalline and glass-like. Would you stop? No.
Movie stars find the end of the rainbow with a fortune to win. It's so different from the world I'm living in. Side of TV, I open the window and I gaze into the night, but there's nothing there to see, no one inside. There's not a soul out there, no one to hear my prayer. Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Take me through the darkness till the break of the day. Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Take me through the darkness till the break of the day.
That like pad vocal. Ooh. Very electric, buzzy sound to that layer.
There's not a soul out there, no one to hear my prayer. Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Take
So,
me through the
are they
darkness till the break
Vince
of
is
the
layering
day.
in some of the backing vocals from the original?
I'm mad after midnight. Take me through the darkness till the break of the day. Gimme, I'm mad after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away?
Oh. I was like, we're speeding up, yeah. We techno DJs are very sensitive to the change in pitch or tempo. I love it. I will say, like, you know, the way he sung the chorus, it doesn't have quite the same, like, feel. Like, he sort of did it in his own way, which I dig. But again, it just, number one, it reminds me of how much I enjoy Vince's production with Andy's voice. It's just a magical combination. I'm going to keep saying it. But also, it made me think, like, the original really is good. And, you know, you got to give it credit because, like, a lot of what I think works there is directly derived from the original. I love what Vince did with the melodic riff, but it's still the same melodic riff. I love the way Andy went through the vocals in his own way and with his characteristic, like, passion. But I do love the lines, like, from the original, this idea of, like, help me chase the shadows away, get me through the darkness to the break of the day. I do enjoy the concept of those lines and the way that, like, you know, in a way it sounds like she's lonely, and, like, in the original is what I'm thinking. I realize Andy singing it changes it, but I was thinking, like, I'll just say the narrator is lonely, and in a way it sounds like maybe they're just looking for a physical connection, but it's more to that. When you hear those two lines, it's psychological, it's emotional, it's interpersonal, it's intimate, it's not just kind of like visceral and physical. So yeah, again, shout out to Andy and Vince's version, but shout out to the original as well. Now there's a remix of this tune. I didn't know they had done a version at all, so I don't, you know, I haven't heard this or I haven't heard the other one, and I hadn't heard this one before. So I have no idea how the remix will vary, but I feel like I do want to come back and react to it. I think it was Han Solo was saying he wasn't the biggest fan of the ABBA-esque EP. If I'm getting that wrong, I do apologize, sir. But yeah, bottom line, I'm curious because the other ABBA tunes that they may have covered, or that they've covered, I don't think I'll know those. Again, the only one that I know for sure is Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. So I'll do the reaction to the remix of Gimme, Gimme, Gimme just to see how different it is from this. But yeah, let me know if one of the tunes more than some of the others on the ABBA-esque EP would be worth reacting to. I'm still just in the beginning process of going through I Say. I'm also going through the bonus material from some of the albums I've already been through, so there's multiple skeins of Erasure reactions ongoing. But once again, shout out to Yun for sending me this bonus material. I'm very excited to hear it, and indeed, I enjoyed it a lot. It just reminds me that it's a really good song, the original, so I'm keen to hear the Erasure remix now that we've heard their first cover version. Yeah, let me know what you think. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Peace.